Hi everybody, welcome to Board Game Heaven. My name is Raymond, and in this video I'm taking a look at Quoridor Pac-Man by Gigamic, who were kind enough to donate a copy for me to review. This is an abstract strategy game for 2 to 5 players for ages 8 and up, which plays in about 15 minutes, and it has the awesome Pac-Man theme all over it. Just look at that. Isn't that amazing? I am dying to show this to you, but before I do, I'd like to ask you to please hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. That really helps the channel. And if you'd like to support what I do, there's also a Patreon page. The link is in the description below. And for less than a cup of coffee a month, you can already support me, and supporters get early access to all of my videos, their name in the credits, and also access to Patreon exclusive videos. And you save up for the exclusive Board Game Heaven enamel pin. Alright, with that out of the way, let's start a game. To play a 2-player game of Quoridor, every player sits opposite from each other and picks one of their favorite pieces. So I'm going to pick Pac-Man for the player on the left and one of the ghosts for the player on the right there. And every player takes 10 of these wall pieces. You start your character in the middle of the first line on your side, like so. And the goal of the game is to reach the other side. So Pac-Man here has got to reach one of the squares on this line. And of course, the ghost here needs to reach one of these squares. And to do that, you can simply move your character one orthogonal spot at a time. So you can move left or right or forward or even backward later on, but not diagonally. Or you can choose to place one of your walls, and a wall must always be placed between 2 squares like this, so never like this. And doing this, you can block your opponent and hinder their movement, but you can never completely block off their path to the other side or lock them in. There must always be a way for the opponent to reach the other side. So on my turn, I might just do this, and then it's my opponent's turn, and they might choose to put down a wall right in front of me. And it's my turn. Heck, let's do the same thing. And then it's their turn again, so they're gonna move here. And it's my turn again, and then I could put down another wall and force them to walk even further. So on their turn, they might want to move here. Now it's my turn again, and now I could be really mean and force them all the way back by placing another wall there. Or I could kind of give them the opportunity to move here and then block it off later, making them walk even back further. So my opponent's gonna move here. I'm going to move here. They might also want to place a wall right in front of me, and play continues like that until one of the players reaches the other side, and that player wins the game. Now, if 2 players ever face each other directly, like this for example, then the player whose turn it is may jump over the other player. So if it's Pac-Man's turn here, they could jump over the red ghost and move 2 spots instead of 1. Of course, they can also just choose to move here. But if the spot behind the opponent is blocked by a wall, then of course you can't jump over them. So let's say I was here and I wanted to jump over my opponent. I can't because there's a wall here, so I can't jump over that. But what I can do is jump diagonally. So only in this kind of situation I would be able to jump and then go sideways. So that's the only situation in which I can move diagonally. And like I said, as soon as one of the players reaches the opposite side, they win the game. You can also play this game with 4 players, and in that case every player starts on their side of the board in the middle of their starting row, and each player of course has 5 walls because there's only 20 in the game, and the rules for the gameplay are exactly the same, and once one of the players reaches the opposite side, they win. Quoridor also has a Pac-Man variant, which has a fixed setup. One player plays as Pac-Man, and either 1, 2, 3, or 4 other players play as the ghosts, Blinky, Inky, Pinky, and Clyde. You set up the board like this in a fixed configuration with 3 walls horizontally in these spots and 3 walls vertically in these spots, like so, or like so. Or alternatively, players can also choose how to put 6 walls on the board as long as 3 of them are horizontal and 3 are vertical. The Pac-Man player also takes these 3 life tokens, and the goal for the Pac-Man player is to eat all 4 of these power pellets on the board. Then they win, and the Ghost's goal is to capture Pac-Man 3 times, making him lose all of his lives. Pac-Man always plays firsts, and the Pac-Man player can move 2 spots instead of the normal 1, whereas the Ghosts just move 1 space. And just like in the normal game mode, nobody can move diagonally. So let's say at the start of the game, Pac-Man wants to go to this power palette and moves 2 squares. And then in clockwise order, starting with whoever is the first player, first ghost, move 1 spot per ghost. So this ghost might move here, this one might move here, this one here, and this one here. And it's Pac-Man's turn again, and they might want to move 1-2 spots closer to the pellet. It is the Ghost's turn again, so maybe this one wants to move here, this one here, this and this. And as soon as Pac-Man reaches a spot with a power pellet, either with 1 or 2 movement points, he stops at that place, takes the power pellet, and then as a reward immediately gets 3 bonus movement. And if that movement takes them onto a square containing a ghost, that ghost is eaten and temporarily removed from the board. So let's say Pac-Man is now going to make a move for that pellet. So he's going to do 1, 2, 3, and eat a Blinky here. So then after Pac-Man's move, the 3 remaining ghosts take their turn again by moving 1 space. But should a ghost ever start their turn with a direct line of sight of Pac-Man, meaning either a vertical or a horizontal straight line, then they go into a frenzy and they can move 2 squares instead of 1, as long as it is a straight line of sight without any walls in the way, but other ghosts do not obscure their line of sight. So if this was the start of the ghost player's turn, then this ghost would see Pac-Man and could move 2 squares instead of 1 like the others. And if a ghost manages to reach the square where Pac-Man is, then Pac-Man is eaten and Pac-Man loses 1 of his lives, and then the board is reset, meaning that you put all the ghosts back in their starting position, including the ones that were eaten, and Pac-Man starts in the middle again. So as soon as Pac-Man reaches the 4th power pellet, he wins the game, or if he gets eaten 3 times, then the ghost player wins the game. And those are all the rules for playing Quoridor Pac-Man. Let's go to my final thoughts. So my final thoughts on Quoridor Pac-Man by Gigamic, who were kind enough to donate a copy for me to review. A big thanks for that. As always, let's start with the components. Well, the components are absolutely amazing. You have basically the classic Quoridor board, but in black, with a nice blue stripe around it, and all the walls that were in the classic game just brown, kind of wood color of course, are painted black, again with the blue stripe, so that if you see the board from above, it actually looks like a Pac-Man maze, of course, depending on how many of those walls you place during the classic game, because in the Pac-Man variant, you'll have a fixed setup with just 6 walls, but still it looks so good. The pieces are amazing, the little ghosts are super cool, and of course Pac-Man himself is also awesome. You get this little 3D wooden Pac-Man and ghosts, and even these power pellets are little wooden orbs with a flat side on all of these so they don't roll off the board, of course. It just looks awesome. Even these Pac-Man life tokens are the little Pac-Mans that the video game also used to have at the bottom of the screen, and that just looks so amazing. So the components are super cool. I love how this looks. It's an eye catcher. When I saw this at conventions, I was immediately drawn to it. So big points on that. We can skip the artwork that I usually also review, because there is, of course, no artwork in this abstract strategy other than the box itself, which is also on the cover here. It's just an abstract representation of Pac-Man and the maze. And I do like that the box has a window for all the pieces. So when you put everything back in the box, you can actually see Pac-Man and the ghosts in there, which is pretty nice. But otherwise, there's not really any artwork here. But the theme, again, is super cool. It's Pac-Man. And this theme fits the Quoridor game so well. Not only in the Pac-Man mode like this, where Pac-Man is moving through a maze, even though this is a pretty open maze. You got Pac-Man and the 4 ghosts coming after him, and you can lose a life. And that is very, very thematic, especially if you love the classic Pac-Man video game. You'll really like this game as well. But in the classic Quoridor version, I think it even shines more. If you're playing Pac-Man versus a ghost, of course you're not going to eat each other, or eat any pellets for that matter, but you're building that maze with all of these walls, so all 20 will be used at some point, and then it really does look a Pac-Man maze, and that's also super cool. So the theme works very good for this. I really like Pac-Man, and it's so colorful and nice and classic and retro, and this game really works with that theme, so thumbs up for that as well. The gameplay is super fun. It's easy to learn and easy to explain. You can teach this game in 5 minutes. It's either, move your piece one spot in any orthogonal direction, or place one wall, and that's it. And you just need to keep a passageway open so everybody can reach the other side. And when you do, you win. That's it. So super simple. And also the secondary rules for the Quoridor Pac-Man variant are also very simple. Pac-Man moves 2 spots, the ghosts move 1, except when they see him at the start of the turn, they get the frenzy, they move twice, and you really need to pay attention to that. So in the classic game, again, very simple. But in the Pac-Man game, you have some additional strategies that you can use. Obviously, Pac-Man needs to keep an eye on where the ghosts are going and where he's gonna end his turn, so that he doesn't end in a straight line of sight with the ghosts, because then they get frenzy and they move 2 spots instead of 1. And he's gonna try and eat those pellets when there are ghosts nearby, so he can eat the ghosts and have less ghosts left when he's going for the other pellets. That would be ideal. If he never gets eaten, it gets easier and easier. But of course, the ghosts are trying to close in on him, so they will have to try and maneuver Pac-Man in such a way that they can see him and move those 2 spots and try to box him in. And maybe you just want to keep 1 or 2 ghosts at the pellet you think he's going for next, or certainly at the end of the game when there's only 1 left, you want to, totally close that off. But try and get him as soon as you can, because you need to get him 3 times as the ghost player. He's got 3 lives. He can lose 2 without a problem and still win. So it's a very tight cat and mouse game, if you will, where you're constantly on top of each other's heels and Pac-Man trying to avoid them. And you don't want to be too close when he gets the pellet, because then you can get eaten. Maybe you want to sacrifice a ghost so you can catch him with another one. So yeah, it's usually a very tight game. I've played this many times already, and it's kind of 50-50 how you end up. In the classic Quoridor game, you tend to learn certain strategies, and no 2 games are the same. It's going to be different every time, but you kind of learn when to play a wall and how to play a wall and when to move. After many plays, you kind of learn the game, but you get better at it the more you play. And in the Pac-Man version, kind of goes the same way, although I think you kind of get this faster than the classic one. The classic one has many, many options because you have also so many walls you can place. But in this version, you kind of quicker, form a certain winning strategy, but that doesn't mean you will win guaranteed if you try that strategy, because the other player will counter that, of course. But that does take a bit of playing and trying things out to figure out. But that's what I like about an abstract strategy game. You know, the more you play it, the more patterns you start seeing, and the more strategies you start trying out, and that is just a lot of fun. And because of that, the replayability is also very high, because you're going to keep trying different things every time you play, and no two games are going to be the same, and it's a quick game, so you also want to keep on playing multiple games in a row. And basically, for a good abstract strategy, the replayability is endless. And I think that certainly goes for Quoridor and the Pac-Man variant. Finally, there's the language dependency. Obviously, being an abstract strategy, there is no language involved whatsoever. And the booklet, the rule book, even comes in 14 different languages right here. 14 different languages, because every page is the rules for the entire game. So here on the white page, that's classic Quoridor, and the yellow page, that's the Pac-Man variant. That's it. That's all you need to know. And they very cleverly, in the back of the booklet, have this fold out, which has the diagrams and the images for the rules and the setup. So if you have a different language here, it doesn't matter. You can browse through the book to find the language you need, and then it will have these numbers and these letters on it, which will point to these images, these diagrams right here. So every language can use that. And that is also very cleverly done. So the game is fully language independent. Anyone can play this. So for that, also 2 thumbs up. So in the end, I am very enthusiastic about this game. It's so much fun. The classic version, the Pac-Man version, both are great. And I like that they managed to find another rule set to play with classic Quoridor. So that's fantastic. They just needed some extra pieces, because of course in classic Quoridor you just have 2 pieces, 1 for each player. Now you have 5, and the pellets and the health tokens, the life tokens. But with that amazing Pac-Man theme, you basically have 2 games in one. So I can definitely recommend getting this if you enjoy a good abstract strategy and a nice theme as well. So 2 big thumbs up for Quoridor Pac-Man. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please also give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And please also check out my Patreon page by clicking the link in the description below, or the icon at the end of this video, and there you can see how you can support my channel for less than a cup of coffee per month. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on Board Game Heaven.